Hi, welcome to the Antique Trader, and we're taping out of Ooh La La in Helotes, Texas. And I don't know if you remember my guest back in November, Fred Torres, and he's back with us, and this time he has something very special to share with us. But let's just do a brief recap of your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we can let everybody know what it is that you did before, prior to starting collecting.
Okay, well, I started here in San Antonio my career at Kelly Air Force Base. I was in procurement. I did and moved to Washington, D.C. after the base closed. Here, Kelly Air Force Base closed. Moved to Washington, D.C., started working for the Washington Navy Yard for the Navy. I was a DOD employee, civilian DOD employee. And I was there for several years, and then I moved over to the Pentagon, worked for the Pentagon a couple of years. And then 9/11 came along, and Washington, D.C. got crazy. It was insane. Everybody was, to get to my office, I had to have one security check. After 9/11, I had 3 security checks to go through just to get to my office. So after that, we decided to come back to San Antonio.
So briefly tell us, how did you get into collecting?
Well, it was in Washington, D.C. Of course, in my situation, I studied art history all my life. From very young, I was reading on art history, reading about, all these artists. It's just something that fascinated me. I don't know where it came from.
So do you remember the first piece that you collected, that you became fascinated, that made you develop that passion for?
Well, what happened to me was in Washington, D.C., I had met with a gallery owner there, and we became friends. And I'd go over and we'd just talk about art and sit together. And one time, me and my wife went to a yard sale, and I happened upon a very nice print. And so it was $5, and so I took it on my way back home. I stopped at my friend's house at the gallery, and he saw it and said he'd give me $300 for it. And I said, okay.
That was a shortcut to money, wasn't it?
So that kind of sparked my interest to say, maybe this is what I should be doing. I know this work. I know the artwork. It's laying around in garage sales and estate sales.
When you go someplace, what do you look for? Do you know automatically, is it a feeling that you feel inside that this is the right piece, or I know this piece? Is that the way you feel when you look at something?
Well, what I look for is something different, something I've never seen before, something that it moves me, excites me, gives me an emotion, makes me sad, makes me happy, makes me...
You have a resonation with it. It resonates with you.
Exactly.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, that's what I look for.
I know that feeling.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
let's talk about your first piece here
okay.
that you brought for me to see.
Yeah, this is a sterling silver cup. It's Georgian. And George III, I found out that this cup was made in 1788. Now, what attracted me to the cup was what it's written on it. It's written on here, it says that HHC, that it was, this was a presentation cup or a trophy cup that was given to a person, A.C. Baggs Shaw, in 1870. HHC, I assumed that it was a country club that was for golf.
How do you do your research?
Well,
how long, for example, how long did it take you to do your research on this? When you said, oh, look what I have, how did you research it? This is something that a lot of folks at home would like to know.
Well, the first thing I looked for was I looked under the cup and made sure that this mark was on it. This mark is called a lion passant. This little lion here, if it's got that mark, it means it is sterling silver cup. Everything. It's solid silver, solid sterling silver. So it means it's 9.925 quality silver, the whole cup. So that got me excited.
Is there a difference between the 925 that we see in jewelry?
No, same thing. It's the same thing as sterling. It means it's sterling silver.
Does it tarnish in the same manner?
Yes, it will slight tarnish. It won't tarnish, of course, like silver plate, get all black or anything. It just gets kind of
a grayish
tone to it, yeah.
How did you clean it? Was it very dark grayish tone?
No, I bought it like that.
So it was previously cleaned?
Yeah.
Have you had to clean it since?
No.
So it's held its polish?
Right.
Okay, so what year again did you say this was?
Well, when I first picked it up, I assumed it was from 1870 since it was given as a trophy in 1870 at this. Actually, what I found out, one of your here at Ooh La La, one of the experts here, Leela's, found out that it was a cricket club. It was the Holly-born cricket club that awarded this cup. I didn't know that before I came in here.
And you keep on finding out great stuff about it.
Yeah, you keep learning.
So where did you do your research prior to coming to here?
Well, I did it online. Online, you can look up English sterling silver marks. There are websites, several websites that you can go to. All you have to do is Google sterling marks, and you'll get several websites that you could do the research for these marks right here.
That's a whole education in itself right there.
Yeah.
How long would you say it took you to research this particular one?
Well, it's not that complicated. It seems complicated, and it takes a while to learn that this mark represents the city of London. This mark represents the city of Newcastle. This mark means that it was George III. This is an export mark. And this mark is a date mark. And this right here is the persons that made the cup, which was John Langsland and John Robertson made that cup in 1788. I know that by these marks. The English are the best at creating these marks.
Well, you just educated a bunch of people because I'm sure if they knew one mark or two marks, they didn't know the rest of the marks.
Yeah. Well, I talked to an expert, a friend of mine. You know, we all help each other in the antique business. We support each other. You know, somebody comes and asks me about a piece that's art glass, because that's what I kind of lean toward, the art glass. And Steve, for example, this friend of mine, he leans on silver. So I went to talk to him, and he verified all the marks. The only thing I was confused, asked him about, why do we have two city marks, London and Newcastle? Why do we have two? Together we talked about it. So we assumed that it was exported out of London, but it was made in Newcastle, England.
Very interesting. So now that we got a course in that, let's take a last look at this great piece, because then it goes into hiding for I guess the next 100 years, right?
Right. One thing about that we help each other. We all support each other. I did have a little problem with my mentor, the guy that helped me get into antiques. His name is Ron Montz, and when I found these pieces right here, every time I found a piece, he would say, "I hate you, I hate you."
Okay, let's go on to this beautiful Murano lamp here.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Oh, then that cup is worth. I'm just saying that the worth value of it. No, okay.
So let's talk about the lamp.
Okay, the lamp, I found out through my research that it's a Murano lamp, that this lamp was made in the 70s, somewhere in the 1970s.
It has no markings on the bottom?
No marks.
Okay.
Anywhere. Just by the shape of it, just by the look of it, I can tell. I found out that this was made in the 70s. It was designed by Alfredo Barbini, which is a Murano artist, for the Barbier and Tasso company, which is a long, goes back way back to 1400s. This families go way back, and they've been producing art glass in Murano, Italy for hundreds of years.
So this is like hand-blown glass.
Hand-blown glass.
The Murano glass.
This is in the Hollywood Regency style, is what the style is.
I see the gold pieces. How do they put the gold pieces in as they're twirling it? Is it that they're putting the gold, inserting the gold pieces in?
Well, these gold inclusions is a trademark of Murano, the island. Way back when, they decided we've got to do something to distinguish our product from other products out there. So they took real gold and put little flakes, and they added it to all their glass.
This is amazing, because you can't tell, you can barely tell. It's so evenly made.
Oh, yeah.
And designed. When it's blown glass, you usually see that there's some kind of movement in the way they shape it, because the glass is soft. But this is it's so perfect. That's all I can say.
This style, this design, they call it bulcante. Bulcante. That's what this style is, where you have these massive deals, you would call that.
Do you know
style.
how many pieces they made in the same style? Because I'm sure that no two pieces are alike, even if we have two of a kind.
Well, I really don't know. I'm sure they made a lot of them. I mean, they're constantly producing glass there for hundreds of years.
Are they still producing glass?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
But this.
How long have you been studying Murano pieces?
Well, I'd say about 20 years or so, something in that.
What captured your interest in the first Murano piece that you picked up?
Well, glass interests me because it's like we were talking before, it moved me. Glass moves me. It excites me.
Do you have a lot of Murano pieces? I've seen some of your pieces.
Yeah, I have quite a few pieces that I like to hang on to. But Murano is very faked, as you might imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of dealers call every piece of glass Murano.
No, not
you know,
so.
and you know
And
that's
it has a very distinguished look.
yeah, it's
And a very
dis-
distinguished and soft feel.
exactly.
You could tell the fake one from the real piece.
right. You
And
generally can't.
in the weight, when you
Right.
hold it, it's like anything else.
Right.
So,
And you can
but-
tell also, I tell like an ashtray, for example, I'll look at the bottom and see how old it is. Because you can tell the age by the scratching, how much scratches are on the bottom. And if the Murano, it has to be perfect. The pantil, which is where the piece that you blow into sticks
Right.
to the deal.
you usually have the piece where it's cracked off, right?
Super smooth, just beautifully smooth on a real Murano piece. It's beautifully smooth, and I look for older Murano pieces. So the pieces that I want have lots of scratches on the bottom where people moved them and took them from place to place and over the years. So I prefer mid-century. That's my era. I love mid-century, anything mid-century. I really, it moves me, it excites me, so.
I am so glad I met you because you're a very interesting person. You collect very interesting things. Now, for this one that's coming up, we need a special drum roll. This is a rare find. This is something you don't find at a yard sale usually. You don't find at your father's mustache little place or anything, or Aunt Annie's or whatever. What do you have for us today?
Okay, this pot right here, I found it in a estate sale.
Okay.
And
Which is the part that you wanted to show us most?
well, I want to show this
Okay.
this little part right here. This is a Picasso edition Madura pot, and the way I figured it out, they had it on a table full of Mexican items. I'm sure the estate person who was running the estate sale was assumed that it was Mexican, because it has a bullfighter scene and a little arena scene, and you know, very Mexican.
This is where your
design.
knowledge comes in.
Exactly.
This is where study is worthwhile.
Right.
Okay,
Of course.
continue.
Well, I've studied Picasso most of my life. I mean, I know Picasso when I see it. This is one of the clues right here. See this foot?
Right,
The way-
right. When
only-
you showed me that, I says, oh
Yeah.
my God, oh my God.
To me, only Picasso makes the foot like that. Well, when I saw it, I knew it was Picasso.
Were you
So-
dancing?
Well, I was shocked, to tell you the truth. I was shocked to see it there. What I assumed it was a Picasso. And when I picked it up and looked at the bottom of it, you want me to show it?
Yes,
Yeah.
you could show it. You could
Yeah.
show it. I'm not touching it. Sorry.
I saw that it was a Picasso piece. It says edition Picasso. It's got the Madura mark. It's 9 out of 100. That's very important because they make these pieces.
That means this was 9 out of the 100 pieces that they made.
Yeah, exactly. They made 100
And this
of
is a
these.
very early piece, and it's in excellent condition. It's in mint condition, no scratches, no nothing.
Exactly. And so I was pretty excited about it, but I had to, of course, get some kind of confirmation on this.
Okay, before we continue, Could you just kind of turn it around slowly without touching anything around it so that everybody at home could see what the whole thing looks like as we turn it?
It's a very popular piece, Murano piece, I found out. It's called an arena. That's the name of the piece, arena. And of course, it's a bullfighting arena. It was made in the southern France by this Madura Plein Feu, which means open fire. Madura Open Fire is the name of the company, and they make pottery. And they were contracted with Picasso to make exclusively, for a certain period, his pottery. This was done in 1958. They did this particular pot. They made 100 of them.
Okay, we're gonna
Picasso was
stop
involved.
it right, turn it just a tad more, and we're gonna stop it right there so that piece airs. Okay, so what else could you tell us about it when you found it? You said, well, we're not talking about price-wise because we can't mention any prices on the air here, but how did you feel? What did you think to yourself? Is this the right price for me?
I thought it was a ridiculous price for what it was. I mean, a totally ridiculous
Too
price.
much or too little?
Way too little, way too little.
So how did you authenticate it?
Well, I took pictures around, took a picture of the bottom, sent it to Christie's. And Christie's got back to me right away, said we want it on the next sale. We'll give you discounts after discount after several discounts that they would give me to take this piece.
So by now you were doing your own tap dance, huh?
Well, by then I knew that it was really what I thought it was. I mean, they confirmed that it was the real thing, that this is the real thing, and that it's a real Picasso piece that he himself was involved with.
How do you feel about owning a piece like this? Are you ready to part with it, or do you want to keep it and say it's mine, 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 mine?
Well, you know, me, I'm not the type of person that really has a lot of big collection of anything. I do it for the hunt. That's what I'm about. I'm about the hunt. I'm about looking for the piece and researching the piece. That's what gives me pleasure. Not to own things and have them displayed. That doesn't do a lot for me. So I probably will sell it. I will probably sell it.
So is this the first piece that you've ever come across that's an original like this? Or have you come across others?
I found a few others. Not this big a name. Of course, there aren't really no names bigger than Picasso in art. You know.
I know, it's amazing.
But I have come across several, you know, prints mostly, and a couple of few oil paintings that by, you know, artists that are mostly local artists from California, from Texas, from New Mexico. I've found some pieces that were worth some money that I paid very little for and were able to sell for good money. Me and my wife, we take off to Mexico. My wife Ophelia, we take off to Mexico when I find something and we sell it and we take off. We love to travel. So.
That's great. Well, Fred, I'd like to thank you for being on the program again.
You're welcome.
And I'm really excited for you. Congratulations. And this is what collecting actually does. Remember that here we talk about the history of antiques and collectibles. And history is in the heart of the collector, as you can see. It's that great passion that drives you and takes you places. I'd like to thank you for watching and hope to see you again on the next program. And remember, we're taping out of Ooh La La in Helotes, Texas. And they have a lot of great stuff, a lot of furniture from Belgium, France, and all over Europe. Come and visit them, and I hope to see you on the next program. Thank you for watching.